Good afternoon, and welcome to another session of studying AP World History. Right now, we're going to go over the introduction to studying AP World History, hit some of the highlights of the test before we dive into the actual study of each time period. So AP World History test has 4 parts. Okay, part 1 is 95 minutes, consists of 55 multiple choice questions and 3 short answer questions. Part 2 is 100 minutes. This consists of your 2 longer essays, the document-based question essay that provides you with a series, a set of primary and secondary source documents for you to analyze and synthesize along with your own knowledge. And of course, the long essay, the capstone essay, based on your knowledge and ability to analyze and organize what you've learned in world history. Now, these may seem like long time periods. Trust me, they are not. Okay, the 55 multiple choice questions, you have 55 minutes to answer that section. So clearly you can't spend 5 minutes agonizing over each question. We'll talk more about that shortly. So just know that this is the current setup for the 2020 test, which I'm assuming in the time of COVID that they will be using for this upcoming academic year. And if there are any changes, I'll do my best to let you know. All right, so what are they looking for, right? This is a history class, history test. So they're looking for your ability to analyze primary and secondary sources. If you had a chance to look at my introduction to studying history video, I cover these topics in some detail, the pros and cons of primary and secondary sources. Of course, the historian's #1 task is to develop a coherent argument or thesis using these sources. That's why history is so cool. And understanding historical events or developments. With a very fast-moving survey course like AP World History is, what they're looking for is across different civilizations, countries, and cultures, they're looking for continuity and change, the inevitable cause and effect, similarity and differences, and most importantly, the context of historical events in the time of which they took place. So what's the big picture? What are the big picture topics that they look at? These are humans and their environment, cultural developments, the developments of governance systems, the developments of economic systems, social interactions, and of course, technology and innovation and their effect on civilizations across the globe. As you can see, these are big topics. AP World History covers a lot of ground really fast. Sadly, not a lot of military history. Somehow, apparently, wars and conflict have no effect on world history. I think not, but whatever. We'll move on. So how do you study for the test? Okay, so for any of you that have any experience with big standardized tests like these, and I've taken a lot of these, I'll be honest. In my opinion, these are about 51% about knowledge and 49% about test-taking ability, right? Let's be honest. These tests are designed not only to test your ability of the material, but your time management, organizational, and let's be frank, your logic skills, your ability to take a lot of information, synthesize it quickly into a coherent argument, and get that argument down on paper, right? So, of course, the multiple choice questions, as I said, you have 55 minutes to answer 55 questions. Now, like most multiple choice questions, I think you can very quickly throw away 2 out of the 4 answers provided with most questions. The other 2 may take some time for you to think, but you have to keep moving. Don't spend too much time on any one question. Remember, 55 questions, 55 minutes. Do the math. That's about 1 minute a question, right? The essay questions. There is a key, so to speak, to cracking the code on doing essay questions that is applicable to any essay. This method, which of course is outlined in the study guide, is also what I always teach my students when I teach history from them. So this is the cookbook to success, as it were. This is applicable to any sort of essay, whether it's history, government, whatever, okay? #1, read the question slowly. Again, a lot of students zip through this because they want to get to writing the answer. No, read the question. Underline key phrases, definitions, people, or dates. If they're in the material provided as a reference, chances are you're probably going to use it in your answer. #2, this is critical. And again, a lot of students skip this step, and I can always tell when they do. Always, always, always make an outline. It doesn't have to be formal. but you should always have one. You're not getting graded on your outline, but trust me, a poor essay reflects a poor outline, okay? The study guides recommend that about 1 paragraph for a short answer, 5 paragraphs for the document-based and long essay. That's probably about right. Remember, short answers are actually tougher to do than the long essay where you just kind of blah, 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 blah to fill out the 5 pages. No, you have to be precise, concise, and you have to get to the point in a hurry, okay? Short answer essays are actually, to me, more challenging than long essays because you have to get to the point and you have to back up your point very quickly. So the first paragraph, of course, is your thesis. It's where you answer the question, take your stand. The second, third, and fourth paragraphs is where you support your thesis with data, facts, and arguments, right? Just the facts, logical arguments, okay? And of course, the fifth paragraph is the summation. Now, what I tell my students is in any essay, you're gonna tell them what you're gonna tell them, you're gonna tell them, and then you're gonna tell them what you told them, right? Short, pithy, see, like that. Okay, what is your answer? What are you gonna back it up with? And then what was your answer again, right? This is the format for pretty much any essay, any paper you're ever going to write, okay? Now, the key, of course, here is also you have to have a topic sentence and you have to use simple, straightforward language. Again, you're not trying to fill up the page. You're trying to answer the question, okay? So don't try to be fancy. Don't try to razzle-dazzle. Answer the question. Be logical. Use the material provided, okay? The final step, and again, I can always tell when my students skip this step, is to proofread your work. Yes, you're like, why do I need to proofread it? I wrote it. No, proofread your work, okay? I tell my students, you have the holy trinity of proofreading. You should proofread your work 3 times. And everybody's like, why do I proofread my work 3 times? I'll tell you why. Number 1, read it the first time for grammar and mechanics. This is the thing that will put an instructor or evaluator off immediately, right? Punctuation, spelling, sentence structure, the basics, right? You're a high schooler. This is going to be expected of you. Number 2, word choice, okay? Did you pick the right word to make your point, to make your argument? Language, mechanics, and language are important. Number 3, did you answer the question? Was your answer logical? Did you include all the facts, data, arguments that you wanted to include, right? So mechanics, language, and answer, okay? Too many students skip this, and I can always tell because it's always a train wreck. Don't skip proofreading. That's why it's important for these tests to get time management skills down. That's why I recommend getting a study guide, because the Princeton Review Study Guide that I use to help prepare this course material has 5 practice tests. I think these are important. These are critical, not necessarily because you're going to learn anything, but what it does tell you is it gives you a sense of what the test is like, what your time management is like, where you get stuck, and where you kind of have to work on your test-taking skills, okay? Because you will find very quickly where your weaknesses are by doing practice tests. That's why I recommend getting the study guide and doing all the practice tests, okay? So, I hope you found this video instructive. I hope that you are ready to dive into the time periods because we're going to do that next. And remember, the key to taking this test is test-taking skills. I think you'll have the knowledge if you work on the material, but the ability to handle your time management and to organize your thoughts quickly and concisely is the key to doing well on this test. All right, you ready?